Hey guys, the 7th Stand Tuber. I'm making a new video which I haven't done in a while, I know. I'm checking out a demo for a game that's in development currently called Eredita D'oro. That's Italian for Golden Heritage. It's a 7th Stand user fan game that takes place in Part 5. What did I say? Part 5, not Fart 5. God. What's out so far is just the personality test. So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna compare it a bit to the other games, and I guess just rate it. I've taken it before, I'm not going into this blind. I actually like it quite a lot, but I haven't done it in a while. It's been like a month since I've touched this. I guess that's kind of like going into it with some fresh eyes, I guess. What I love about this is how the first game opens with Abdal, and Fate is Unbreakable opens with Rohan. The one giving us our test here is none other than the big man, Polfo himself. I love this guy. He's just such a fun character. Consider this a favor, courtesy of yours truly, Polfo. But first, there are certain curiosities about you that we need to address. You see, you want a place in my organization, you must remember, loyalty is forged, not given. Bish? Betrayal, whether to me or your future colleagues, is unforgivable. All traitors, liars, and the rest of the scum go to the same destination. Hell. Good. Now that we have that out the way, enlighten me. And I love this sort of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon vibes from this test. Like, this background, this music is very reminiscent of that game. I think that was my first introduction to games like this, where they decide your character through a personality test. I always love that mechanic whenever I come across them in games. So, first question, let's pretend you're on a bad streak but the weekend has arrived. How would you like to spend your time? And this is very similar to the first question of 7th Stand user, basically asking you introverted, extroverted, or do you like being around people or not? And I definitely know my answer, staying at home. Alright, now let's pretend it's your funeral day. From which aspect of your life would you want to be remembered? And this, I find an interesting question. Like, right off the bat, it's hitting you with a familiar question, and then this is sort of like a 1-2 punch. This is a very, like, different question, makes it distinct, and it's something to think about. Not memey like the 7th Stand user 2. So my honest answer, honestly, I don't really care. I don't really think being remembered is such a very important thing. I don't think I would want to be remembered badly, but my answer's between my faults included, or I don't really care. I think one thing that happens a lot when people die is people feel like, oh, you can't speak ill of the dead. But, dying doesn't make you any less bad of a person if you did bad things, or if you made great mistakes. I feel like those should be acknowledged and not swept under the rug. We kind of deify the dead in the hopes that people won't, talk about us badly when we're dead. Or at least that's the way I see it. It's a sort of a protection of the ego kind of thing. I would want the whole truth to be remembered, I guess. When you deify someone, that's dehumanizing them all the same. So, I'd say I don't really care. I don't really care. Doesn't matter. I'm dead. When a friend is feeling upset, it's difficult for you to understand how they feel. I guess depends on the issue usually, but even if I don't necessarily get what other people are like talking about, I still try my best to work with it and to build understanding it from there. No matter what it is that's upsetting them, if it's your friend that's upset, you still want to try to figure out what it is to help them. So I'll go with yeah. And another thing I love about this quiz is that there's a lot of third answers. So it's not just yes, no, true, false. There's a lot of maybes in this quiz. So if you're an undecisive person, you can just be like, oh, well, you know, it depends. I don't know. You know, maybe. Do you often distrust apologies? Apologies in general? I think if someone is truly sorry about what they've done, then I can usually look past, or I can try to, at least, for making a genuine effort. But that's the hard part, you know. I'm not sure if this question is saying, do you think apologies are genuine, or do you trust, you know, it's all up to interpretation. In my personal experience, most apologies I've received have kind of not meant a lot. People just go on and repeat the same actions anyway. So I'm gonna have to go with not always, because at the end of the day, an apology is just words. So I'm sorry if I'm yapping too much. I try to put a decent amount of thought into the questions, so I'm not like, I don't know. I like to try to get as accurate as picture as possible. In your opinion, is it okay to take the shortcuts life offers you? There's no quick and easy way to do everything. There's no get-rich-quick scheme. It doesn't involve some sort of... If you're not making yourself worse off in the long run, you're making someone else worse off. So I'll answer no. Do you think your social battery is more limited than other people's? Oh, definitely. Is no time to lose a thought you frequently have? My time is not that valuable, let's be honest. Do you believe sadness can hold a certain beauty? I'd say yeah. I'm always drawn to bittersweet stories and tragedies. I like JoJo's because it often weaves drama and tragedy into the story. It's not... You'll be hard-pressed to find a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure story that just ends on a 100% positive, wholesome note with all the loose ends neatly tied up and everyone's happy forever after. And it's not that kind of story. I like JoJo, and there's a lot of other stories I like because they're tragic in some manner. So I just vibe with them more. In fact, when it comes to stuff that's too wholesome, it makes me feel just kind of sick. I'll be honest. I'm kind of a hater. I hate the happy ending that isn't earned or isn't hard fought for. Just handed out because, oh, you know, that's the way it should end. But I'll have to answer this question with a yeah. Believe failure defines a person's final performance. This is kind of abstract in my head. I can't paint a concrete picture of what I would define as like someone's final performance failing. Like, I'm not sure. Guess if it was like someone sacrificing everything and that still doesn't accomplish what they're setting out to do, say, well, yeah, at least you tried, but yeah, I'd need more info. Are you worried about being recognized more for your appearance than for your name? Well, I'm ugly, so I don't really have to worry about that, but I guess, in a sense, yeah, I wouldn't want people to identify me based on superficial things and applaud me for that rather than like my achievements and stuff, if I had any. Because, I don't know, those superficial things don't really matter. The people put so much stock in them that kind of maddening. Yeah, I guess I'd say yeah. Do you feel you express yourself better through non-face-to-face means? Well, yeah, definitely. I'm rambling. I've been rambling this whole video, honestly. I definitely get my thoughts across better when I write them down. I'm much more coherent that way. I'm just basically doing this off the cuff because doing something more spontaneous is the only way I'll get this done, honestly. I'd get bogged down if I tried writing a script, and definitely express myself better, though. There'd be a higher quality. Do you believe everything has an answer or a reason for being? Yeah, we live in an absurd universe. It's all absurd. Years from now, do you believe you'll still keep the same bonds you have today with people? Nah, I don't think so. If they don't fall apart naturally through time, I'd probably rescind them myself because I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. No, I think. Yeah, I think growing attached to much of anything, it's you might as well grow attached to a pile of sand and get upset that the wind blew it away. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I think mourning those attachments is you're just crying over spilled milk. So no point in latching on like that. So I'd say I don't think so. I wouldn't bank on it. If you were to cry in front of someone, is your first instinct to apologize? I'd say no. I don't think you're something to be necessarily ashamed of. I try not to show it to other people. I don't think it's weakness. I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. It's just other people don't really see it that way, and it would be pointless to show them that side of you. So I'll go with no. Is envy a completely unpleasant emotion in every aspect? Well, only a Sith deals in absolutes. I don't think envy is an inherently bad thing to feel, because sometimes it leads to the betterment of yourself. If you envy someone, you envy their good aspects, you envy how kind they are, you envy what a determined person they are. I envy artists because of their talent. I wish I could do the things people do who create beautiful things. I feel very deep burning envy for the ability to do that. It doesn't drive me to resent them, though. I think that's the important thing about envy, is that you don't hate others for having what you want. Yeah, I think that's kind of what makes envy bad in the first place, is that resentment that grows. So if you can avoid that, I suppose, envy's not bad. If problems arise in a project you're part of, what would you think? Would you think of replacing the organizer? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the problems start with the head. A friend is throwing a party where you don't know anyone else. Would you still attend? Haha, no. Nah. You don't know anyone there, and the person who dragged you there goes off, and then you're just left standing there awkwardly. Nah. No thanks. If your friend's score on the test was miscalculated, would you inform your teacher? Yeah? You know, I mean, I'm not a very confrontational person, but, you know, it's just the natural thing to do, to be like, hey, you know, I got this score, he got that score, our answers are the same. I think there's been a mix-ups. You know, it's kind of simple, man. Is it possible to give advice while holding a different personal opinion at the same time? It's definitely possible, but I wouldn't want to be a hypocrite, I feel. Tell people, oh, just do this, just do that, and I'm not putting in the same effort to do those things. I think your values should line up with what you tell other people. Is it naturally easy for you to fit into different groups of friends? Yes. You know, when you use personality B for friend group A, I kind of just go with the flow and vibe with whatever group I'm with. Believe you are unique in this world? No one's really unique. You know, I mean, how many billions and billions of humans have ever lived? Do you really think that out of all of them, you've experienced something that someone else hasn't? I'd say no. I'm not. I'm not unique in the slightest. Am I rarer than others? I'm definitely a rarer specimen, but there's definitely other people in the world who think the way I do, feel the way I do, and I don't really think you can point to any one thing and say, "Oh, you know, I'm not like anyone else." It's when those things start to add up, I guess, that make a unique person. But even then, I'd say no, I'm not unique. I'm not special. I'm just a guy, man. Does it upset you when the rules or principles you believe in aren't respected? Yeah, naturally. I'm not naive enough to think that everyone would follow them, but I wish people would, I don't know, just be good to each other. You put pressure on yourself to become who you believe you should be. If I did, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be actually doing something with my life. I'm just looking down here at the timer. I've been yapping for almost 27 minutes. Oh no, life and stuff. I did not expect the test to turn out this long, but this is how it is sometimes. Sometimes you go through the test in like 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes a bit longer. But I don't usually vocalize my thoughts. That's definitely a contributor, but yeah, to get back on topic, if I put pressure on myself to be that I wanted, I'd probably be in a much better station in life. Would you risk everything you have for a chance to achieve an ideal life? Nah. I'm much too lazy for that. Do you believe fights serve any purpose? Yeah. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh no, violence is never the answer. You know, Have you... If anyone says that, you ask them to open a history book and just turn to any page, and you'll see at any point in human history, when we've had problems, violence has, if not solved it, It usually makes it worse, naturally, of course, but once violence is on the table, you can only answer with violence, usually. Sadly. Sadly. I don't like it, but that's reality. That's human history. That's human nature. Yeah, fights definitely serve a purpose. You have to defend what you believe in, or someone else will trample all over it. Do you believe you can handle an emotional burden without outside help? I've kind of been doing that for all my life. You know, just as a guy, just as a person, as your average guy in society. No one cares if you have a problem, really. Even if they do, it's not like they're gonna help you with it. You're kind of on your own to deal with most things that hurt you deeply, hurt you in the heart. I know for me, for the past several years of my life, that's been the case. I've just had to kind of shoulder it and just, yeah, endure it, because even if other people did help, they wouldn't know how to. No, they wouldn't know. People might have good intentions, but they don't know what help even means. No. They never really get to the core of what it means to be helped. Or even when people do offer what they think is help, it isn't always enough. That's not their fault. Not anyone's fault. It's just the way it is. Sometimes you're just alone. I didn't want to get. I don't want it to make things super depressing. That's just what I honestly believe. But you know, on the bright side, there's a difference between being alone and being lonely. You can be alone and not feel lonely at all. You can be surrounded by people and feel extremely lonely. And that's kind of the camp I'm in. I don't really feel lonely, you know, just because I'm alone. It's only when people try to extend that hand forward and they misunderstand me that I feel more lonely. I'd rather people just didn't even try if they're just going to, like, either not help or make it worse actively. Yeah. Sorry about the random heart-to-heart. I've been through a lot, so it really is just something to think about. This is, I think, maybe it's just me, but I really like this quiz because these questions really do just, they make me think. I've been rambling for half an hour now. Because these questions are very well constructed. They really do make me consider and really reflect on myself and my view of life, my worldview, my philosophy. These are really good introspective questions. Do you agree that honesty, one way or another, always helps people? No. I would still be honest, because I believe in it, I guess. That one question earlier, I'd like to avoid being a hypocrite, but to be objective, sometimes you tell people things and it just hurts them. So I want to answer no, but at the same time, I feel like if the truth hurts you, maybe you're the one doing something wrong. Maybe you can use that information to do something better. But to objectively look at how people might react, even if something is true, it doesn't necessarily mean it's helpful. Sometimes people who are brutally honest, most people who describe themselves that way, they care more about being brutal than being honest. Let's be real. They just want an excuse to put other people down. Yeah, oh, you know, bro, I'm just being honest, bro. It's like, nah, you're just being a jerk. Be real. So, I'd say not in all cases. You currently feel a sense of responsibility over certain people. I don't have any kids. I'd say no. Honestly, when something doesn't go as expected, you usually have a plan B. I usually adapt. I usually, I guess if I'm adapting, that's not having a plan B, you know, that's not usually having something prepared, so I'd have to go with no. Are your default responses to life a yes before you've had time to think about it? Now this, I've actually not seen this question before. I've taken this quiz numerous times. This is the first time I'm actually seeing this particular question. The question before I've never seen before too, actually. I am really interested how this is going to turn out, because this quiz is I genuinely I'm really glad I caught this on a recording, and I was able to get my thoughts out, because I genuinely have never had a quiz this long before. I promise you, it's not usually like this, but I'm here for it. I really am. I really like how in-depth this is. If I have the opportunity to say no, I usually go for it, because I'm a very lazy person. I know, just jumping into action is not usually my first response. Is the future more important than the past and present? Well, for one thing, you can actually change the future. You can't change the past. It really depends on how you interpret this question. But the way I see it, when it comes to advancing, a lot of people discard the past and see past attempts or people who are in it as inherently like dumber, and that you know, in the future, you know, we won't have these problems or that problems. Or I think the past is extremely important because you have to learn from it. More important than the future, though, I am not sure, but there's a lot of lessons we can learn from it. And for me specifically, I don't really have a future in mind myself. Okay? When people tell me, "Oh, you have a future ahead of you," it's like, okay, so I mean, not like I know what to do with it. If you keep your eyes on what's right in front of you rather than what's straight ahead, that can lead to both great problems and great solutions. I'm very torn on this. I kind of wish there was a third option for this. But hard to choose. Future more important than the past. I think the past and the present kind of define the future, so I would say no. Are you capable of giving multiple chances to those who have hurt you? It's kind of hard to really personally get to me. Like, it takes a lot to get to that point, but I kind of write people off No, I don't think that's a very good quality of myself. I try to be understanding. I try to be forgiving. I feel like if I can understand something you did, I can forgive it. But if it gets to a point where you've actually managed to deeply wound me, then I kind of just swear off you forever. I just drop you like a bad habit. It's just most people don't actually get to that point, so... I'd say, nah. Can a single person make a difference? Yeah. It requires the right circumstances, I believe, but there's been a lot of times in history where that one person doing the right thing makes all the difference. You know, like in the Cold War, I forget the guy's name, but there was a Russian soldier. He was in a nuclear submarine, and he had gotten the orders to fire missiles and basically start World War III. And he was like, no, this doesn't look right. This doesn't seem right. And it was just like a technical malfunction. It was just the entire world could have ended if that one guy wasn't in the position to question his orders. We need more people like that, honestly. Because I don't know if I have the strength to be one of them. I'd like to think so, but I'm not sure. Okay, it looks like we're approaching the end here. That was long. Like, ah, man. I really do enjoy this quiz. I definitely rank it above 7 Standing User 2's quiz because, obviously, if you haven't seen my video where I compared that quiz to the original, you should check it out because they have a really dumb way of deciding your stand in that game. Now that I've gotten a really in-depth, really good scoop of this quiz, and I've gotten really deep into the answers, I've seen a lot of questions that I have never seen before. I'm truly lucky that I managed to record this. I would say this quiz definitely rivals the first game. If anything, I'd say it's slightly better than the first games because these questions just... Maybe it's the novelty of having not seen them before, but these questions really get to me on a philosophical level, I guess. So let's see what stand I got. Yes, I think that does it. Most of my doubts have been addressed. Well, now I have a better idea of who I'm dealing with. I must say, you're quite unique for an applicant. Now, someone who protects their space, their self-preservation. You have a bit of attitude, but that way of saying things might be the thing someone needs to hear to gain their courage. As you're like a stone, unbothered. Even when pushed to a limit, you're quite hard to break. But only quite, as you're like any other person, afraid of something. Can you handle your emotions? Most can to a degree. That mechanism is called repression. A bit awful, no? Perhaps it's time to reevaluate where your limits are. Because I can't think of anyone else to possess seek and destroy. You don't want any trouble, I got that. But just in case, load your guns. This is kind of where the demo ends. Very promising so far, very, very promising. I'm gonna get more into seek and destroy. I'll give some more information about this project. First, I'll have to time skip to the future and do some editing. If you want to try the demo for yourself, I'll put the link to the Tumblr blog in the description, where you can also find a lot of art, notes, and the link to the Discord server. which has so much more up-to-date information. Eredita D'oro is being made by a guy named Chell, someone who seems to be talented in both art department and in making games. I got to see that Chell puts a lot of thought into the process of developing Eredita D'oro. If you want to see behind the scenes, he's open with his design philosophy and his mindset going into it, and he often asks for opinion for other people, so who knows, you might have a hand in influencing how this game is made. It kind of reminds me of how Clayman will drop random tidbits about the 7th Stand user on Twitter, but this is a lot better because I don't have to know Japanese. I almost want to go into depth with each player stand, but their abilities and designs are subject to change. For instance, there was a slingshot-like stand called the Pencil Rain, but it was reworked into Evanescence. And that's a welcome change because this design is sick as hell. I'll give you a quick overview of some of the other player stands so you know what to expect if you take the quiz yourself. The stand I got, Seek and Destroy, is comprised of 2 turrets, Seek and Destroy. Their bullets can manipulate iron, letting you absorb or implant it in objects. It sort of parallels Metallica, but I like the ranged element to it that makes it more distinct from other magnetic abilities in JoJo. There's like 5 of them. The next stand's called Guantanamera. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It can make sugar cubes that, when you dissolve it in water, makes soda that enhances your senses and reflexes. Most notable about it is it's a stand with a mind of its own, like Heya, who cheers you on with a positive gym bro kind of attitude. He's definitely going to spot for you. Then there's Aguas de Marco. It can find almost anything that's ever been lost by someone. As long as it knows when something was lost and who lost it, it can make a portal in water or other liquids to retrieve it from another dimension. And then there's a more traditional, strong, fast, punch goes kind of stand. Get Back. Get Back makes things get back to where they were for its current state. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's kind of a less busted version of Gold Experience Requiem. And like Guantanamera, it has a mind of its own, but it's a lot more independent. In fact, there's going to be a game mechanic where it's apparently going to judge your actions and decisions in the story. Next is Easy Rider. It can turn anything it touches into a car, complete with an engine and gas. It's not an instant process, but once it's complete, you can control where your target drives. Next is Marvin's Marvelous Mechanical Museum, or for short. It can bring almost anything to life, mostly toys. These objects have a mind of their own, so a lot like Gold Experience's life creation, you can't just tell them to do whatever you want. Then there's Question. It's a stand that emanates waves that makes things around it pliable, kind of like when you heat something up and it gets softer. Then you can shape it any way you want. It's sort of like Tenacious D from Fate is Unbreakable, but more distinct. The next one has, hands down, my favorite design out of all of them. It's called Sympathy for the Devil. It's like a perfume bottle or cologne, and applies a layer of makeup to the user. It allows you to copy the appearance of someone else. This makeup also protects you and lets you touch stands. Then there's Evanescence. It's a stand that's integrated into your body, specifically your fingers. They can uncurl into snakes that can stretch up to 15 meters away. When they bite things, they can inject prions that can suppress bodily functions or reverse them entirely. And then Dr. Kitsch. Despite what its name implies, it's not actually a stand that heals people. Dr. Kitsch is kind of like Cardigan's failing out of nursing school and becoming a back alley fentanyl dealer. It has finger needles that can drain vitamins from other people. It can redistribute these vitamins, but it's too much to be helpful. It just gives you an overdose. Kinda sad, but funny in a cosmic sort of way. Then there's the Blur. It's sort of the miracles of this game. It's definitely one of the most unique out of the stands here. It's kind of like Civil War in that It attacks people with their past regrets. It makes a fog with visions of what could have been inside of flower petals that spread and bloom in people the more and more you focus on these past regrets. It's based on something called Hanahaki disease, which I have never heard of before this. It's some sort of romance trope where people cough up flowers because someone they love doesn't love them back. Anyway, this ability can hurt anyone who focuses on their past regrets and looks into these flower petals, including the user and their friends, so you have to be careful. Next is Traveling Shoes. It's a wearable stand, like Oasis or White Album or 20th Century Boy. It has several different modes, like it can turn off its friction, or it can turn off your gravity, or it can turn off its inertia. It can even turn off time, but you just have time to think. So it's not Star Platinum, but better. Next is Tiny Whiny. When I think of Tiny Whiny, it just makes me think of Huggy Wuggy. It's just a goofy name, but I love it. It has the ability to simplify objects, strips them down to their purest essence. So anything that makes someone or something more complicated, including status ailments or injuries, it can strip those away, while it can turn the enemy into more abstract forms that make them useless. Jukebox Hero takes the form of a boombox and a tape recorder. Any sound that it records and plays back makes people feel the sensation of what they heard. So if you hear someone crying, you'll feel sad. If you record someone getting shot, they'll feel like they got shot. So this can be used to hurt your enemies and aid your party if you recorded something helpful as well. Second one is an automatic stand that responds to anything the user feels is a threat. It whips up miniature tornadoes that the user can control. The most unique part about Second Wind, though, is its ability to change users. The user can give their stand to someone else to protect them, but it leaves themselves completely defenseless. Is Miguel is probably my favorite one, ability-wise. I don't know why, I like it a lot. It's a colony stand that can plant seeds, which grow into replicas of almost any small handheld object the user wants. So this could be weapons, tools, ammo. The only problem is that the ability takes an hour to work. All Apologies is the mandatory axe stand of the game. Act 1 has the ability to make two objects that you touch magnetically drawn to each other. Act 2 lets the ability be used on living things, while Act 3 makes the target attracted to itself. It results in a violent death spin in place. And lastly, Malbico. It's a tiny stand that looks like a mantis. When it cuts someone, it slowly turns them into a copy of the user, and can make 3 overall. The copies operate like a hive mind of the original, without any sort of real instruction or command. So they're pretty much perfect clones, but if they go outside of your range, they turn back into the person that was afflicted. Overall, I really like everything that's been put into this. All the art, all the ideas. There's so much more to talk about, but I feel like I can't really convey everything in just a single video. It really is something to look forward to, I think. Can't wait to see what Chell has in store for all of us. But for now, I'll see you guys later. Probably.